Hello, and welcome back. As a personal consulting doctor, I am so glad you've rejoined me on this journey to protect one of your most precious gifts, your eyesight. It's a gift that as we age can start to fade away so gradually we barely even notice it. If you're new here, consider subscribing to my channel so you won't miss any of the personalized guidance I offer, specifically for seniors like you. Now I have a few important questions for you. Have you ever found yourself subconsciously reaching for your glasses more often than you used to, even when you're just looking at your phone? Do you find yourself struggling to read the fine print on a medicine bottle or a restaurant menu, having to hold it at arm's length? Have you noticed that you're squinting more at the television, even when you're sitting close? If you're over 60, these aren't just minor inconveniences. They could be a quiet warning from your eyes. What many people don't realize is that vision loss doesn't always happen overnight. Instead, it often starts with subtle shifts. Are the letters on the page starting to look blurry or fuzzy? Do your eyes feel dry, gritty, or irritated by the end of the day, almost like there's sand in them? Have you become more sensitive to bright light like sunlight or the glare from a screen? It's a slow, creeping process that can little by little begin to steal your independence. Perhaps you've stopped driving at night because the headlights feel blinding, or maybe you've started to avoid reading to your grandchildren because the words are just too small. Are you hesitant to go out in certain weather because the glare feels unbearable? Maybe the most difficult part is that quiet fear that your world is getting smaller and you feel like no one truly understands. I want you to know that I understand completely. I have seen this very same pattern over and over again in my practice. Smart, capable individuals whose lives were slowly becoming less vibrant because their eyes were not getting the nutrition they needed. The simple, often overlooked truth behind so many common age-related eye conditions, like cataracts, macular degeneration, dry eyes, and retinopathy, is that your eyes are essentially malnourished. But here's the good news. You don't need expensive procedures or fancy pills to fight back. In this video, I will personally walk you through 10 powerful natural foods. Yes, foods that can help sharpen your vision naturally, hydrate your eyes, and even protect them from further damage. Most of them are likely already in your kitchen. You just need to know which ones to choose, how to use them, and when to eat them. So if your eyes feel tired, blurry, dry, or simply not as sharp as they used to be, please stay with me. There is hope, and it just might begin with something as simple as what you put on your plate tonight. Let's dive in. One of the most powerful and effective foods you can eat to protect your eyes as you age comes from the ocean. I'm talking about wild salmon and other oily fish like sardines, mackerel, and herring. Why do these matter so much for your vision? Well, your eyes are not just static glass-like spheres. They are living, intricate tissues full of delicate nerves and blood vessels, and they depend on healthy fats to remain moist, sharp, and fully functional. Wild salmon is particularly rich in a type of omega-3 fatty acid called DHA. This isn't just a trendy term. It's a fundamental building block for your retina, the part of your eye responsible for sending clear images to your brain. Think of DHA as the vital wiring that allows your eyes to communicate with your brain without static. When you don't have enough of it, the signals become fuzzy and distorted, and so does your vision. Many of my patients are surprised to learn that their dry, blurry, or light-sensitive eyes are often early signs of a DHA deficiency. I hear them say things like, "Doc, my eyes feel like sandpaper by mid-afternoon," or "I just don't see things as clearly as I used to." And what's remarkable is that after they start incorporating oily fish into their meals, just 2 or 3 times a week, they often notice a significant difference within just a few weeks. Let me share a brief story about one of my patients, Harold, a 72-year-old retired mail carrier. When he first came to me, he complained that his eyes burned every time he looked at his phone or computer. He had to use artificial tears 4 or 5 times a day just to get by. We reviewed his diet, and there was not a single trace of omega-3s. So I asked him to make one simple change: grilled wild salmon twice a week and a small can of sardines in olive oil on the weekends. 6 weeks later, Harold was using eye drops maybe once a day, if that. He described his eyes as feeling more awake. Even better, he felt mentally sharper and had fewer headaches after reading. That is the power of nourishing your eyes at a cellular level. There's another fantastic bonus. Omega-3s are also a powerful anti-inflammatory. This means they help reduce the internal heat and swelling that your eyes can accumulate from aging, prolonged screen time, or even sun exposure. They also significantly boost natural tear production, keeping your eyes lubricated without the need for drops. So if you've been struggling with dry stinging or blurred vision by the end of the day, do not overlook this simple solution. Start by adding wild salmon to your plate just twice a week. If that's not easily available, sardines or mackerel are excellent alternatives. Just try to aim for wild caught whenever possible. It's a small adjustment, but your eyes will thank you every time you open them. Now let's turn our attention from the sea to the soil. If there's one vegetable I wish every senior knew about, it's Swiss chard. This humble leafy green is an absolute powerhouse for your eyes. Why? Because it's packed with 2 powerful plant pigments, lutein and zeaxanthin. These aren't just scientific names. Think of them as your eye's own internal sunglasses. They naturally accumulate in the back of your retina, particularly in the part responsible for sharp central vision. And what they do is truly remarkable. They filter out harmful blue light and ultraviolet rays, protecting your eyes from the constant daily damage caused by screens and sunlight. As we age, this natural defense system weakens, which is why conditions like macular degeneration and cataracts become more common. But by increasing your intake of lutein and zeaxanthin, you can help slow down that damage, or even reverse some of the early signs. Swiss chard happens to be one of the richest natural sources of these protective compounds. When you eat it regularly, whether it's raw in salads, lightly sautéed with olive oil, or added to soups, you're giving your retina the necessary tools to capture light more clearly and transmit sharper, more vibrant images to your brain. Lutein also helps support your color perception, making it easier to distinguish between different shades, especially in low light. This is something many seniors quietly struggle with, like noticing the difference between navy and black socks, or missing subtle contrasts on stairs or curbs. Zeaxanthin, on the other hand, focuses its power on filtering the blue light that comes from phones, tablets, and fluorescent lights. It's this light that causes oxidative stress in your eye tissues over time. While Swiss chard is a star, it's not the only leafy green that helps. Kale mustard greens, collard greens, and turnip greens also deserve a place on your plate, but chard stands out for its nutrient density. So if you're looking for a simple way to fortify your vision, a daily leafy green salad is a fantastic start. It's not just good for your eyes, it's also great for your brain blood sugar and overall vitality. Your eyes face enough stress as it is. Give them the natural armor they need with these greens that do more than just look healthy. Now I know the very mention of liver might make some of you wrinkle your nose, but when it comes to eye health, few foods come close to the benefits of beef liver. This unassuming organ meat is truly nature's multivitamin, especially for your eyes. First and foremost, beef liver is the single richest natural source of retinol, the active form of vitamin A. And vitamin A isn't just good for your eyes, it is absolutely essential. It's the nutrient that enables your eyes to adjust when you move from a brightly lit room to a darker one. Without enough of it, your night vision starts to fade. You might notice this when you're driving at dusk or trying to find your way to the bathroom at night without turning on a light. And if you've ever felt temporarily blinded by oncoming headlights or overly sensitive to sudden brightness, that could be a sign that your eyes are struggling without enough vitamin A. Retinol also plays a crucial role in tear production. Do you suffer from dry, irritated, or burning eyes? That may not be just a surface issue. It could be that your body isn't producing enough healthy tears to keep your eyes clean, protected, and properly lubricated. But that's just the beginning. Beef liver is also loaded with zinc, a mineral that works in tandem with vitamin A to build the visual pigments in your retina. These pigments are what help you see contrast shapes and movement, and they also protect the tiny blood vessels in your eyes from weakening or leaking over time. And let's not forget about vitamin B2, or riboflavin. It supports the structural integrity of the cornea, the transparent outer layer of your eye. This layer can become thin or easily irritated as we age, particularly if we spend a lot of time in dry air or under artificial lighting. B2 helps the cornea stay strong, moist, and properly shaped. So how can you incorporate beef liver into your diet, especially if the texture or taste isn't your favorite? You don't need to eat a big slab of it every day. Try mixing ground liver 50/50ths with ground beef when you're making meatballs, burgers, or sauces. Or you can try some grass-fed liver pate on whole grain toast. It's surprisingly mild when prepared correctly. Just 1 to 2 servings a week can provide everything your eyes need from this powerful superfood. The truth is, many people spend a fortune on eye vitamins, yet they overlook one of the most potent natural sources sitting right at your butcher's counter. It may not be glamorous, but your eyes aren't looking for glamour. They're looking for nourishment, and beef liver delivers exactly that. Have you ever noticed tiny red spidery veins in your eyes? Or felt like your eyes bruise or swell more easily with age? If so, there's a good chance the delicate blood vessels inside your eyes are weakening. And that brings us to a vibrant, crunchy kitchen hero, bell peppers. These colorful vegetables, especially the red and yellow ones, are loaded with real natural vitamin C, not the synthetic kind found in most pills, but the kind your body instinctively knows how to use. Your eyes are filled with incredibly delicate capillaries. These tiny vessels are responsible for carrying oxygen and essential nutrients to the retina, cornea, and surrounding tissues. But as you age, or if your diet is high in sugar and processed foods, these vessels can become fragile, leaky, or inflamed. Vitamin C helps to reinforce and repair these capillaries. It does this by supporting the production of collagen, the jelly-like substance that holds your eye's structure together and cushions its fragile tissues. Without enough collagen, your eye can lose its firmness, and those thin vessels become more prone to rupture or blockage. But there's more. Bell peppers also provide beta-carotene, the precursor to vitamin A, and a healthy dose of lutein and zeaxanthin, the same protective compounds found in leafy greens. This combination makes bell peppers a triple threat. They strengthen blood vessels, hydrate tissues, and shield your retina from oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is a big deal. Every single day, your eyes are bombarded by light pollution and harmful free radicals. If you don't have enough antioxidants like vitamin C to neutralize that damage, it begins to accumulate. That's when problems like cataracts, blurry vision, and even retinal bleeding can take hold. The good news is, you don't need to eat bags of peppers every day. Just 1 raw bell pepper a day sliced into your salad, dipped in hummus, or tossed into a stir-fry is often enough to meet your daily vitamin C needs and more. Raw is best because cooking can destroy some of the vitamin C, but even lightly sautéed, they still offer real benefits. Pair them with the Swiss chard we discussed earlier, and you have a powerful eye-healing combination on your plate. It's simple, it's colorful, and it works. Now here's a simple everyday food that far too many people underestimate. Eggs. But not just any eggs. I'm talking about pasture-raised eggs from hens that roam outdoors, eat a natural diet, and soak in the sunshine. Why does that matter so much? Because eggs from pasture-raised chickens have significantly higher levels of carotenoids. particularly lutein and zeaxanthin, which we already know play a vital role in protecting the retina and enhancing visual clarity. These carotenoids are what give the yolk its deep yellow or rich orange color. The richer the color, the richer the nutrition for your eyes. These compounds act like natural light filters, absorbing blue light, reducing glare, and protecting your visual cells from being overwhelmed by the constant flood of light and stress. This is especially crucial as you age, because your eyes' natural defenses begin to wear down. And eggs go even further. They contain vitamins A, EB2, and zinc, a potent combination that helps form the visual pigments in your retina, keeps your cornea moist and strong, and supports the optic nerve that transmits images to your brain. Let me share a quick story about my patient Ellen, a 69-year-old avid reader and former school teacher. When she came to see me, she told me, "I can barely get through a few pages anymore without rubbing my eyes. They feel so dry, and the words seem to blur even with my glasses on." We reviewed her diet, which consisted mostly of low-fat foods, processed breakfast bars, and almost no eggs, because she thought they were bad for her cholesterol. I asked her to make one small change. 2 pasture-raised eggs a day, soft-boiled or gently scrambled in a little olive oil. That's it. Nothing fancy. After 3 weeks, she came back with a big smile. She was reading comfortably again with far less eye fatigue. "It's like someone cleaned the windshield," she told me. It turned out her eyes were simply starving for the fat-soluble nutrients that only high-quality eggs can deliver. And that's something many seniors don't realize. Your body needs healthy fats to properly absorb key nutrients like lutein and vitamin A. Without those fats, even if you're eating the right vegetables, your eyes may not be getting what they need. So when you choose eggs, make them count. Look for cartons labeled pasture-raised, or buy from a local farm where the chickens roam freely. You'll notice the difference in color, and your body will notice the difference in benefits. It's a small act, but for your eyes it can make a world of difference. Let's talk about one of the most underrated eye-healthy snacks you can keep in your kitchen: walnuts. These simple little nuts contain a powerful combination of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin E, both of which play a critical role in protecting your eyes, especially as you get older. As we age, the risk of blood clots and circulation problems increases. What many people don't realize is that this also puts your eyes at risk of a type of stroke where a clot blocks blood flow to the retina or optic nerve. This can happen suddenly, and in some cases lead to permanent vision loss. Walnuts help reduce that risk by making your blood less sticky, improving flow through the tiny capillaries that nourish your eyes. At the same time, vitamin E acts like a natural shield against oxidative stress. Think of it as a firefighter inside your body, putting out the flames of inflammation that can slowly damage your eye tissues after years of exposure to UV light pollution or high blood sugar. Vitamin E also helps repair scar tissue inside the eye, which can develop after infections like conjunctivitis or from general wear and tear on the eye's surface. And here's something else. The healthy fats in walnuts also support the outer structure of your eye, keeping it moist, flexible, and protected. Just a small handful a day, about 6 to 8 walnuts, is enough to give you these benefits. You can sprinkle them over oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or enjoy them as an afternoon snack. If walnuts aren't your favorite, other nuts like almonds, pistachios, pecans, or macadamia nuts also offer eye protective nutrients. But walnuts stand out for their omega-3 content, making them especially valuable for seniors who don't eat much fish. Simple, natural, and incredibly effective walnuts are one of the easiest ways to support your vision with every bite. They may be small in size, but when it comes to eye health, shellfish are among nature's most powerful protectors. I'm talking about oysters, mussels, clams, crab shrimp, and lobster, delicious gifts from the sea that deliver critical nutrients your eyes need to stay sharp and strong. First, shellfish are extremely rich in zinc, a mineral that helps form and maintain the visual pigments in your retina. Without enough zinc, your night vision suffers, and your eyes become more vulnerable to oxidative damage, especially from UV light and blue light exposure. Zinc also strengthens the tiny blood vessels in the back of the eye, helping to prevent leakage and swelling that can lead to blurry vision or diabetic retinopathy. Then there's vitamin B12, another key nutrient found in generous amounts in shellfish. B12 supports the health of the optic nerve, ensuring that visual signals from your retina reach your brain clearly and efficiently. It also supports red blood cell production, which improves oxygen delivery to the sensitive tissues of the eye. But perhaps the most fascinating compound in shellfish is a deep red pigment called astaxanthin. It's what gives shrimp, lobster, and crab their vibrant color, and it's also one of the most potent antioxidants known to science. In fact, astaxanthin has been shown to be up to 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C at fighting oxidative stress. This means it can help reduce inflammation in the retina, protect against macular degeneration, and slow down the aging of eye tissues over time. Astaxanthin is fat-soluble, so your body absorbs it best when shellfish are eaten with a little healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. Now, if you're not used to eating shellfish regularly, start small. Even just one shellfish meal per week can make a meaningful difference. Incorporating shellfish into your diet isn't just good for your eyes, it's also great for your heart, brain, and immune system. They are truly tiny treasures from the sea with mighty benefits for your vision. When we think about eye health, we often focus on the retina, the lens, or the cornea. But there's another vital part of the puzzle: the nerves that carry visual signals to your brain. And that's where a simple crunchy snack can make a huge impact. Sunflower seeds. These tiny seeds are one of nature's richest sources of vitamin B, one also known as thiamine. This humble nutrient plays a powerful role in protecting the nerves inside your eyes, especially the delicate fibers that can be damaged over time by blood sugar spikes, oxidative stress, and inflammation. If you are living with diabetes or prediabetes, this is particularly important. Elevated blood sugar levels can damage the small blood vessels and nerves in your eyes, leading to a condition called diabetic retinopathy, a leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. Vitamin B1 acts like a shield. It helps your body process sugar more efficiently and reduces the buildup of harmful byproducts that would otherwise damage nerve tissues. It also improves circulation in the eye, ensuring that oxygen and nutrients reach where they're needed most. But here's the thing. Thiamine is a water-soluble vitamin, meaning your body doesn't store it. You need a steady supply through your diet, especially as your ability to absorb nutrients may decline with age. That's why sunflower seeds are such a smart choice. They're easy to sprinkle over salads, stir into yogurt, or eat by the handful. And just a quarter cup a day gives you a significant boost in B1 without the need for supplements. And it's not just thiamine. Sunflower seeds also offer healthy fats, selenium, and vitamin E, all of which support eye tissue repair and protect against oxidative damage. Other good sources of B1 include organic pork nutritional yeast flax seeds and acorn squash. But sunflower seeds stand out because they are convenient, affordable, and require no cooking. If you're looking to protect your vision, especially from nerve-related issues, don't overlook this tiny seed. Sometimes the smallest foods carry the biggest power, especially when it comes to keeping your eyesight sharp and your nerves resilient. Let's pause for a moment and talk about something many people miss when it comes to nutrition: absorption. You could be eating the most nutrient-rich foods in the world, but if your body can't absorb the nutrients properly, your eyes won't reap the benefits. This is especially true for fat-soluble nutrients, like vitamins A, D, E, K, lutein, and zeaxanthin, all of which are critical for healthy vision. That's where avocados come in. Avocados are one of nature's best sources of monounsaturated fats, a heart-healthy fat that acts as a carrier, helping your body absorb and utilize fat-soluble antioxidants from vegetables like kale, spinach, or Swiss chard. In simple terms, without enough healthy fat in your meal, your body may flush those precious eye-supporting nutrients right out. By adding even just a few slices of avocado to your salad or a spoonful of guacamole to your meal, you can dramatically enhance your body's ability to absorb the very compounds that protect your retina and reduce inflammation in your eyes. But avocados don't just help with absorption. They also contain their own impressive nutrient profile. They're rich in lutein, a carotenoid that filters harmful blue light and protects against macular degeneration. They also provide vitamin E, which shields your eye cells from oxidative stress, and vitamin B6, which supports nerve function and circulation in the eyes. This combination makes avocados a double win. They deliver eye-nourishing nutrients and unlock the full potential of other foods on your plate. If you're someone who enjoys salads, smoothies, or even eggs in the morning, try adding avocado. Or drizzle a little cold-pressed avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil over your veggies. These healthy fats work synergistically to make every bite more beneficial for your eyes. So remember, it's not just what you eat, it's what your body can use. And when it comes to eye health, avocados help turn your good choices into real lasting results. Modern eye problems often have ancient solutions. Long before we had eye drops or high-tech supplements, people turned to herbs and natural remedies to soothe tired eyes, improve circulation, and preserve vision. And the truth is, many of these time-tested plants still work, especially when paired with a healthy diet. Let's start with ginkgo biloba. This herb has been used for centuries to improve blood flow to the brain and eyes. For people dealing with glaucoma or early-stage macular degeneration, improving circulation to the optic nerve can make a noticeable difference. Ginkgo works by relaxing blood vessels and reducing oxidative stress, allowing more oxygen and nutrients to reach the back of the eye. Then there's milk thistle, a liver-supporting herb that boosts your body's levels of glutathione, the body's master antioxidant. Glutathione helps detoxify eye tissues and is especially helpful for those with diabetes-related eye damage like retinopathy. If you struggle with dry, irritated, or puffy eyes, consider using cooled chamomile or rooibos tea bags as a compress directly over your closed eyes. Just 15 to 20 minutes of rest with these herbal compresses can calm redness, reduce inflammation, and promote natural healing. Another powerful ally is turmeric. Turmeric contains curcumin, a potent anti-inflammatory compound that helps reduce swelling and oxidative damage throughout the body, including the eyes. Studies show curcumin may help relieve dry eye syndrome and protect against age-related degeneration. And finally, there's Coleus forscohuli, a plant in the mint family. It has been shown to reduce pressure inside the eye, which is a key factor in preventing and managing glaucoma. Coleus can be taken in capsule form and is often included in natural eye support formulas. Of course, these herbs are not magic. They work best as part of a larger lifestyle approach, alongside nutrient-rich foods, good hydration, and regular eye-friendly habits. If you're considering adding herbs to your daily routine, please check with your doctor first, especially if you're on medications or managing chronic conditions. But when used correctly, these natural remedies offer gentle but powerful support for aging eyes. Sometimes the answers we need aren't new. They're simply waiting to be rediscovered. By now, you've seen how incredibly powerful food can be, how each bite can either nourish your vision or slowly chip away at it. From wild salmon and leafy greens to pasture-raised eggs, walnuts, and even humble sunflower seeds, you have more control than you think. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. As we get older, our bodies naturally struggle to absorb nutrients, especially fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin. Conditions like acid reflux bloating (IBS) or even a fatty liver can quietly block absorption even if you're eating all the right things. That's why I often recommend a simple digestive support supplement with enzymes that include ox-bile pancreatin and betaine HCl taken before meals. These help break down fats and unlock the nutrients your eyes desperately need. It's a small step, but for many seniors, it makes a significant difference. Beyond food and supplements, there are also daily habits that I encourage every one of my patients to follow. First, try to cut back on refined sugar and grains as they deplete your B vitamins and fuel the oxidative stress that damages the eyes from the inside out. Next, make it a habit to drink at least 1 liter of mineral-rich water every day, as proper hydration supports tear production and protects your eyes from dryness and irritation. If you spend a lot of time on screens, add a blue light filter to your phone, tablet, or computer, and consider wearing blue light blocking glasses in the evening. Also make time to look far into the distance each day, preferably while walking outdoors. Looking at the sky or distant trees helps relax the tiny muscles inside your eyes and may prevent your lenses from becoming distorted over time. And finally, swap out inflammatory vegetable oils like soybean canola or margarine for something your eyes truly love. A teaspoon of virgin cod liver oil or krill oil each day. These are incredibly rich in omega-3s and natural antioxidants that lubricate, heal, and protect aging eye tissue. When you bring all these habits together alongside the nutrient-rich foods we've covered, you create something powerful, a daily rhythm that defends your vision. It's a foundation of care that supports your independence and confidence, a path forward that doesn't rely on medications or waiting for things to get worse. I know how frustrating and even frightening it can be when your vision starts to fade, when reading becomes difficult, when night driving feels risky, when the things you love, like gardening, reading, or simply seeing the faces of your loved ones, start to slip away. But I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, it is not too late. Your eyes can still respond. Your body can still heal. And the changes you make today, no matter how small, can bring lasting protection, clarity, and peace of mind. If this video brought you any value, please consider liking it, sharing it with someone you care about, and subscribing so you don't miss future videos like this. And if you've tried any of these foods or habits, I would love to hear about your experience. Just leave a comment down below. It might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your eyes.